What's up, guys? So today I thought we would look at Olivia Rodrigo and her song Vampire, which I think is just a genius song. I'm going to be breaking down why it's so freaking good. So yeah, let's just get started. Oh, I love that chord. It's got 3 major. You got the emo chord, 4 minor.
Hate to give the satisfaction asking how you're doing now. How's the castle built off people you pretend to care about? Just what you wanted. Look at you, cool guy, you got it.
Oh, that's so emotional already from the beginning. Just the vocal, and I love how the melody follows the chords. So basically, so we're in F, and then they go to this chord that is immediately not in the key, which is in A7. But in a very classic songwritery way, she sings that in the melody, and it's just super nice. So, how you doing now? And I always found that to be the most effective way to use those borrowed chords.
I see the parties and diamonds. Sometimes when I close my eyes, 6 months of torture you sold to some forbidden paradise. I loved you truly.
I love that. I love it truly, the way her voice just goes away there. Slightly not enough air to make a note, but it just makes it so emotional.
'Cause I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst one look fine.
And just the way in the production, just the way he layers the pads and stuff. So the producer I already know is Dan Nigro. He's also the producer behind a lot of the Chaperone stuff. He's been definitely the biggest producer of 2024, I would say. Even though I think this might be 2023, this song. Again, right here, she's singing the minor third in the B flat minor. So I made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst ones look fine. So good. And again there. Basically, it's a lot of what this melody does is following these kind of emotional chords, and I really love it.
Bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
Is that a little bit fake feedback on that vocal? What is that?
Vampire.
I love that. Oh, okay. It's not actually in the song. It's part of the music video. Never mind. Oh.
Every girl I ever talked to told me you were bad news. You called them crazy. God, I hate the way I called them crazy too. You're so convincing.
Again, this is just something I'm really partial to. Just the double tempo ballad is just one of my favorites. Because, the whole first verse and chorus of this song feels like a ballad. And then just the drums come in and the piano starts playing faster. And just get this emotional, soaring melody and chord progression on top of a double tempo background. I just love that. It's one of my favorite kind of tropes.
Do you lie without flinching? Ooh, what a mesmerizing, paralyzing, fucked up little thrill. Can't figure out just how you do it, and God knows I never will. And for me and not her, 'cause girls your age know better. I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst.
It's a fun reveal in the music video. Are these lookalikes of celebrities? It looks like a parody of something like a Grammy Award. Kind of the perversion of the entertainment industry. I wonder if this is actually about a specific guy or if it's more about the industry. It could be any. That's a really funny frame. Doesn't look like her. You can hear there, just the layering and stuff, you can hear, it sounds like there's a piano and maybe an electric piano layered. Yeah, that sounds like there's 2 different things.
Bleed me dry like a goddamn vampire. I
love that sound. It's It's almost Queenie. Oh, and that's sliding vacuum vocal, definitely Queen-like. Speaking of the layering though, like I feel like that is one of the biggest things that happened with computer technology and stuff. I made a video on My Chemical Romance, Welcome to the Black Parade, and I know Crystal Algae, who mixed that, one of his big like secrets of how he made his drums sound so good was that he would add like a sample layer, like add another snare drum on top of the real snare drum to make it sound fatter and like punchier and more consistent. That's just really happened with everything in modern music production now, where like you will layer like 5 pianos. If it's a song that sounds like it's a band song, it probably has some like electronic elements in it, because electronic elements have tighter and more bass or crispier top end or something like that. So people try to just combine the best of all worlds nowadays in a way that didn't used to. Love that.
You said it was true love, but wouldn't that be hard? You can't love anyone, 'cause that would mean you had a heart.
This music video is good, but I like that it's not super distracting me from listening to this song. I just love this song so much.
Now I know that I can, 'cause how you think's the kind of thing
I love this part.
understand.
Beautiful.
And I made some real big mistakes.
Oh, I love that.
Make the worst one
The way the strings come in. It's got so much movement to it. Piano just playing like 8 notes. Bass goes up. Talked about that in the Taylor Swift breakdowns I did.
Bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
I just love it. Part of me wants to hear like a heavier version. That's so sick. I love that song so much. Okay, let's see if there's any behind the scenes of this. Dan Negro made a video about producing it. I'm excited. Okay, let's see.
Big element of this song is the strings that I did with Paul Cartwright. We set up the 2 U99 in an ORTF pattern, so you end up with kind of like getting it as close to an orchestral sound as you can without having to go into a studio to do it all. And maybe my favorite part of the entire string section is this part right here.
Wow. I don't even hear that in the mix. That sounds so good. It's crazy how much work you can put in, like as a music producer or whatever. It adds probably a lot, but you don't pick it out as a singular like element or thing. Oh, that's beautiful. That transition, oh my goodness.
The drums are really simple in this one. A couple of kick drums. There's some
Couple kick drums, 4 kick drums, yes.
hi-hats, some snares.
I tried to help you out. Now I know that I can't.
I like how like fizzy the snare is. So when you mic up a snare, there's these strainers on the underside of the snare that makes all this fuzzy sound. And he's definitely used a lot of samples that have a lot of that in it, and it sounds really fun. Like there's a plugin by a company called Waves Factory that makes only that sound. Yeah, here's snare buzz. So this type of sound, right? It sounds kind of sloppy.
It's this like fun little dance when she's on the microphone of like figuring out the right notes to kind of push on, you know? And so everything here is all head voice.
'Cause I've made some real big mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love when they work together. Just like the dynamics of the vocals, like it's just so well thought out always.
Make the worst one look fine. I should
And then like pushing the
Yes.
fine, you know how it's like she kind of like swells open on fine.
one look fine.
Yes.
I should have known
Perfect.
it was strange. You only come out at night.
Oh, and night there. Oh, that's so good.
I used to think
There is obviously like a lot of like, you know, post-production that happens and effects and stuff, but Vampire, it's all about the arc of the song, and it's all about like, you know, starting in a really subtle place and then bringing it to a really big place.
I'd sucker fame bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
So sick.
Out getting ice cream with my friends in Santa Monica, feeling a type of way, and I was like, I have something to get off my chest. I need to like get into the studio and sit at a piano and write a song. I had that like feeling inside of me. But yeah, it all started from an ice cream trip that went awry.
What happened with what happened with ice cream? Was it just she dropped her ice cream? That's what the song is about?
I usually am a very lyric-oriented songwriter. Songs for me usually start with the seed of a lyrical idea or a title, but actually this song is unique in how it was created. I came up with the chords first.
It does feel like it follows the chords a lot, but that's what I love about it.
After playing those chords, I kind of was like, oh, maybe I can call the song Vampire. It sounds kind of gothic.
I was smart, but you made me look so naive.
I went to the studio and I sat down at the piano and
That's such a great video. I don't know. I always kind of get goosebumps when I really like a song and I get to see like the early fetus of a song, you know?
I wrote the first iteration of this song. It's gone through many iterations, and my producer Dan helped me a lot, helped me polish it up and make it what it is today.
Bad sucker, babe, fucker, let me try like
Just Dan's doing this.
a damn vampire.
Oh, they were thinking a major seventh chord. They didn't do that in the end, but I think it makes a lot more sense to just do it like a power chord type thing. But it was cool with a major seven as well. So if you don't know the difference, it's like the difference between this, which is what they were doing in the end. But they had the major seventh, and it sounded like it was like. Could have been cool too. It's a little bit more emotionally charged, a little bit sadder with the major seventh.
I've been trying to fit in the lyric, "How do you lie without flinching?" into a song for a really long time. It's just an interesting concept to me. It's something I think about all the time. I'm such a bad liar. Me lying, I'm like, my eyes are like all over the room. I'm like fidgeting, I'm sweating. And so it's always been really interesting to me how easily some people can lie, and it's always kind of freaked me out.
Hey, great. Like, it's really weird. Like, I'm also a really, really terrible liar. Clearly, a lot of you guys know, like, for a while, I was struggling a little bit in my personal life, and people could see in my YouTube videos that I wasn't having fun. You can kind of see through me, I think. I don't think it takes a lot of, like, skill to see through what I'm feeling at any given moment. So I totally relate to the idea, like, how do people lie? How do people, like... I'm almost in awe of people who can kind of rewrite the way they think about stuff in order to make themselves feel better. But I think people who are more prone to rewriting the past, they feel better because they can kind of have a past that suits them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the clean version for this song was really hard to make. I made it to
It's funny, you can see exactly where they did the overdubs. That's funny.
talk about it.
Bad sucker, garlic butter,
Garlic butter? No, for real?
bleed me dry like a...
No, not that one.
Oh, that was like a joke. By the way, welcome back to another video. My name is Joel from Roomie Official, and thank you to our patrons for sponsoring these videos. They get to vote on which songs we should break down and what videos to make, all kinds of stuff like that. So check it out if you want. Let's continue. Okay, so here we have the form of the song mapped out. So I would say that the main character of this song is just the dynamics, the build, just how much it builds over time. But there's a lot of interesting stuff. So a couple things stand out. First of all, the tempo is not entirely even. It's definitely a little bit slower here, and then it starts speeding up. It's pretty stable with a few fluctuations starting from when the drums come in.
Every girl
I like that. We have a few different chord progressions. We have the verse chord progression, the chorus chord progression, which I've made red here, and the bridge kind of throws it all on its head and starts on the subdominant. Like for most of the song, we kind of like end up on the subdominant towards the end of phrases, but here we kind of start with it. And you know, subdominant to minor, which is a big part of the sound of this song. This leading back to F. One thing I never really thought about is that the hook is kind of like a tag on. Some people would probably call it like the pre-chorus. It feels like it's leading somewhere, and it's just kind of like leading to these.
bad sucker, fame, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
Before that,
You big mistake.
you know, this part I would say is the chorus, but it feels like it's just leading somewhere, especially starting on the G minor. Because the G minor is usually something that you would have in the pre-chorus more. That's the second chord in the key, and it always feels like it's leading somewhere. Like this song just kind of feels like it's leading somewhere all the time. That's what I love about it. Oh, there's the strings he was talking about. It's a little bit hard to hear. Oh, it just lifts so nice here. You can hear it just from these instruments too. Oh, so good. That's amazing. Makes me want to sample this, but then I get in trouble. It would be cool to cut this up and make it into something else for sure. So beautiful. So there is this counter melody in the choruses in the piano that I really love that I kind of wrote out here in the chords a little bit. But basically they're doing a lot of like, made some real big mistakes. You make them. I know it's fine. They do that a lot. They actually do it here with a B too. They do. There's this other fun moment here in the break where they kind of do this slide up vocal here into the bridge. It's so cool. I don't know. I just love it. It's so chaotic. So yeah, huge parts of this is just classic songwriting, building dynamics, which is not super common nowadays either. Like most songs, we just kind of like start out big and end big, you know? Maybe you take some stuff in and out, built on a loop. This is not built on a loop. Like so much is custom as you go through the song, and it's got new little surprises and details for you all along. Compared to something like Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, even though it's also a really well-produced song, it's a lot more kind of like same throughout the entire thing. Let's have a look at the lyrics while we're listening to the vocals. I always love to do that. Rodrigo's lyrics describe a boy that took advantage of, lied to, and ultimately used her. The references to a vampire in the song's title, lyrics, and cover art are used as a metaphor to further illustrate this person who sucks the life out of the narrator, leaving her feeling powerless and drained. Some fans are convinced that vampire, specifically the yelled bloodsucker fame bleeding me dry like a damn vampire, is about Swift, especially given that signs of their budding friendship vanished after the credits issue. Swift recently invited Sabrina Carpenter, the rumored other party in the driver's license heartbreak, if you don't know, she dated Olivia's boyfriend after her or something, to support her Eras tour. When asked that, Olivia said, "How do I answer this? I mean, I never want to say who any of my songs are about. I've never done that before in my career and probably won't. I think it's better not to pigeonhole a song to being about this one thing. I was very surprised when people thought that." That's not a no. That's interesting.
Hate to give the satisfaction asking how you're doing now. How's the castle built of people you pretend to care about? Just what you wanted.
Starts out so freaking strong. It really pulls you in with the storytelling right here, I think. Just a great lyric writer for sure.
'Cause I've made some real big
I love this line, "You make the worst one look fine."
Make the worst one
So
look
good, right?
fine. I should have known
It really puts it into emphasis how big of a mistake this was.
Come out at night. I used to think I was smart, but you made me look so naive.
Just naive sounds so good on that melody. Maybe you look so naive. Like, it's just so powerful.
The way you sold me for parts.
I love
You sunk
her vocal
your
here.
teeth into me.
That sounds really high. Yeah, that's a high E. I could not sing that, and I'm not going to try.
You sunk your teeth
So nice.
into
It's not a full belt, but it's like a really nice mix, which works
me.
perfectly here.
Sucker, fame, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
So there's some very creative like vocal distortion here, not in her voice, but through a music production, like distortion, some kind of distortion box.
You sunk your teeth into me.
It just sounds like a little bit like grittier because they put it through something. It really helps. You know, she's a really dynamic singer, but you don't really hear her like distort her voice the way someone like, I don't know, Shawn Mendes would distort his voice, or, you know, Nickelback. She doesn't sound like Nickelback. We can all agree on that. I love Nickelback. Something a lot of people do nowadays is that they will copy the vocals across the song. I do that sometimes, but like here, you can definitely hear that they recorded different parts
Bleeding me dry like a goddamn.
compared to here.
Bleeding me dry like a goddamn.
No, they're totally different takes. And then here's the last one.
Sucker,
And it's way more belted.
bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
That's great. Olivia's vocals on this song are just crazy. The way they work with dynamics, I really love. Like here.
You big mistakes, but you make the worst. Wanna look fine, I should've.
Compared to like the first chorus.
You big mistakes, but you make the worst. Wanna look.
She's such a good singer, you know? Some people struggle to get an entire song in properly. And yeah, she definitely can sing really well and is able to have this dynamic build throughout the entire chorus, which I think is really cool.
Fine, I should've known it was strange.
It's wow. This is little like falsetto flip there.
I should've known it was strange.
It us. That's so fun. Okay, guys, so that was a bit of a deep dive on Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire. Click here for some other breakdowns. I've got so many now, you can look at them in a playlist and just get to know a bunch about songs that I think are really great. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and happy Valentine's Day. It's not Valentine's Day. It could be.